feel like a king, oh yeah. Baby, can't help but stand. So you rush, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls, cats and chicks, you're listening to Viva ENT. We're live on the radio here in Seattle. I'm Johnny the Capo, your host. I'm in the studio live, of course, with my co-host, Mr.
Brad Buckles. Good afternoon.
The most wonderful producer in all of Seattle.
Oh, thank you so much. Good afternoon. It's Eric CC Ryder.
All right, CC Ryder, my man. And
CC in the holiday season should be like Charlie Claus or something.
Charlie Claus.
That's what we're going to do, Charlie
All right.
Claus.
I like Charlie Claus.
You're a good man, Charlie Claus. And you, sir, host of the show.
I am. I'm not a bad guy.
Johnny the Gangster.
From town.
Live.
Johnny the Capo.
Johnny the
Capo.
Capo.
Yeah, there we go.
I did promote myself a couple years ago, yeah. Anyway, we have a great show today. We have Brad's buddy and my buddy, Dave Lou, coming on about 3:17. We're going to talk about the Issaquah Ram and the Ram trivia shows.
Boy, that's been on fire lately, huh?
That has. I had a good show last night at the Issaquah Ram. It was good.
Eric, do you do trivia?
I usually don't go out for trivia, but I enjoy the concept of trivia.
Sure.
I like answering questions on, fun facts whenever I can.
I had I put together my own section of the trivia.
Right.
And it's called Rock and Roll.
Okay.
And it was Rock and Roll trivia, and it was a big hit.
I'm going to guess 2 out of 3 answers were Elvis.
No, only 2
Okay.
out of 20.
Okay.
But I must admit, no one knew what Elvis's first #1 record was between the choices I gave him.
Oh, between the choices you gave him. Okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit
Surprised, huh?
a little surprised.
You got some education to spread, Johnny.
Yeah, so we got the rock and roll thing going. We had a real good night at the Issaquah Ram last night. A lot of positive energy in the room. Everybody had fun.
You're going to just leave us
trivia.
hanging on what that first Elvis #1 was?
You don't know, Eric?
I should know from being involved with this show.
But you said the
some
choices
time,
you
but-
gave. We
Yeah.
got to pick the choices you gave.
Okay.
Yeah, if you give us the choices.
I'll give you the choices. A was Heartbreak Hotel.
Uh-huh.
B was Teddy Bear.
No.
C was All Shook Up. And D was Blue Suede Shoes.
I think it was D, Blue Suede Shoes.
I'm going with Blue Suede Shoes.
Actually, no.
Oh!
It's going to be Teddy Bear, right?
Actually, no.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, all shook up.
No.
Jeez. We're not doing great.
No, Heartbreak Hotel was Elvis's first #1.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, Heartbreak Hotel changed the world just like I Want to Hold Your Hand changed the world in 1964.
Wow.
Same thing. Before Heartbreak Hotel, there was very little rock and roll played on pop music January of 1956.
So the year that those 2 songs came out were the exact same year?
What year is that?
I Want to Hold Your Hand and Heartbreak Hotel?
No. 64 for I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Okay.
Heartbreak Hotel, 1956.
Oh, 56. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you just said 64. So I was like, wow, talk about 2 major songs.
Yeah, I'm saying what Heartbreak Hotel did in 56 did what I Want to Hold Your Hand did in 64. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I mean literally, when I Want to Hold Your Hand hit the airwaves in
That was it.
64.
It was over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's funny that I like to talk about it a lot, but up until the Beatle craze with the band thing until 1964, other than a few bands like the Beach Boys, so on and so forth, all the teen idols, all the rock and roll stars were male vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Rydell, Fabian, Dion, Ricky Nelson, Bobby Darin, Bobby V, Bobby Lee. and when the Beatles hit, they just pretty much left the charts permanently. I mean, there's the only artist that really made it past that explosion was Elvis and the Beach Boys.
I didn't know this until recently. I'd kind of, it doesn't surprise me, but Eric, I don't know if Johnny and I were reading about this. Do you know that America, historically in music, is known for the leading men, individual vocalists, and really big stars that are one person or two people type stars. In Europe, the UK is known for the bands.
Right.
I did not know that.
Well, that makes sense if you think about the fact that we had Elvis, we had Michael Jackson,
Sure.
etc. Those are some of the biggest stars of all time, but they are solo stars.
Individuals,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never really considered that. Even through the 80s and 90s, we have the biggest individual icons in the world.
There you go. Yeah.
They have the biggest bands.
That makes sense.
Yeah, very interesting.
And those bands would be?
You got your Beatles, your Rolling Stones, etc.
Yeah. I mean, you going into the 80s, you got Duran Duran, Spandau Ballet, some of these big iconic groups.
Are they all British?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now you've got Coldplay. I mean, you go back not too long ago. You've got
Coldplay's British too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just known for these huge rock acts.
Correct.
Not like we don't have them. They just have a better percentage of them.
Queen.
Yeah.
Queen.
Like even in the 80s, bands like Def Leppard were
yeah.
so massive.
Smash.
Yeah.
I mean, just huge stuff.
Absolutely correct on that. You know, when you go to research the American rock and roll bands, you got the Eagles, you got Aerosmith.
Some big bands there, too.
But I mean, all the titles that you just mentioned is like a whole bunch more.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's hundreds you could go to, but if you just kind of go off the top of the cuff here and just go this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
Yeah, it's funny to think about, but now that you bring this up, you know, it seems like British solo stars tend to make a splash and then fizzle away. You know, whereas we've got people that have been going forever, like
Decades.
Tony Bennett.
Oh,
you know, that just
Frank
a massive
Sinatra.
star for forever. Yeah, Frank Sinatra. Yeah. Exactly. Before he passed on. So.
You know, that's a really good observation, Brad, because never really thought about it, but it's absolutely true.
I guess it's our rugged individualism.
I guess it's that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I want to mention today that Betty Harper is our guest on the half hour. Jerry Osborne is bringing her on, and she is a world-renowned artist. And she's done many, many, many images of many, many celebrities.
Now, in this case, when you're saying an artist, you're talking about the fact that she's a painter.
She's a paintist, yes.
I think it's still painter, even if it's a woman. But yeah, and speaking of Elvis, who we always talk about on this show, it captured his image probably 1,000 times, and some of the most famous pictures of Elvis, I think, that were drawn or painted were by her.
Oh yeah, great! I'm getting to know that right now, and I wasn't aware of it until today. But I'm happy to have her on the show today. That's for sure.
Yeah, if you look at her website, bettyharper.com, you'll find and not just Elvis, but all kinds of musical acts have been captured by her pens and paintbrushes.
Yeah, I saw an image of Hank Williams and a couple other artists, too. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. We don't have artists on our show very often. Be kind of cool.
A painterist?
A painterist.
A pantourist.
We'll find out what inspires her.
Good. I like that. I like it very much. And are we good to go with the volume on that song?
Yeah. I think we could play this back if you're ready.
Okay, here's Johnny the Capo. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope you like this. It was done real quickly, so it's not real great, but it's not that bad.
All right, then we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with your buddy, Jay Blue, right?
That's right.
Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. On the way, here's the bluebird. Here to stay, here's the new bird that sings a song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no man. You can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland.
Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at SaturnBarter.com. Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com, that's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com.
Dr. Amanda Wong and the team at Art of the Smiles provides comprehensive dental services at affordable prices. Their convenient location in Federal Way and their extended hours fits the needs of both families and working professionals. Whether it's transforming your smile through some of their cosmetic therapies or simply having your teeth cleaned, Art of the Smiles provides individualized care plans that address your priorities and needs. Visit artofthesmiles.com or call 253-839-4048. That's 253-839-4048 for same-day scheduling. Most insurance is accepted, from cosmetic procedures to implant placement, molar root canals treatment, or wisdom teeth extractions.
Alternative Talk 1150. It's good for what ails you. This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA.
In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, I am man, we'll say, no man, you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face and unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. I said I'm walking in a winter wonderland. Oh, yeah.
Well, we had to end the song like that now, didn't we?
It would only be appropriate.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Viva ENT. This is Johnny the Capo. I'm live in the studio in Seattle with my co-host, Mr.
Brad Buckles,
the greatest producer in all the city.
It's Eric C.C. Ryder. Good afternoon.
C.C. Ryder. Now, you know who I have on the as my guest today? Mr. Dave Lou Jam Entertainment.
Hey. Is this my cue?
It is your cue.
Okay. Deck the halls with bells of holly, fa la 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 la.
There you go.
You did it. I did it.
Well, good. I like it. I usually sing "Deck the Halls with Balls of Holly," but I think I got the lyrics wrong.
I think it's bells of holly.
Bells.
Balls.
Okay, I was
bales of holly.
Balls. Balls.
Okay, I don't know. I never had a bell or a ball or anything else.
On that note, Dave, why don't you tell everybody what you do and who you are?
That's right.
Well, I'm curious what's going on in Radio Land.
Well, we always have a blast on the radio. Are you kidding me?
We got everybody up here at the office. They're having a big Christmas party.
Yeah.
Well, I know Johnny was cooking a turkey earlier today. Is that what you guys are eating right now?
No, I was cooking.
Nope.
I think it was yesterday. I was cooking the turkey.
I thought, you didn't go to the studio and cook the turkey.
No.
Well, what I do, I own a little company called Act One Photo Booths.
Cool.
And so we have photo booths all over the place.
Yeah, you do.
They go to companies, different balls and parties and events. And right now we're in the corporate season of everything.
But you've got green screens too, right?
We've got green screens too, and the green screens can magically turn a background into anything you want. And we are just busier than a one-legged man in a blank chicken contest right now.
There you go.
It is just bang, bang, bang.
Now you do big corporate stuff too, right?
Yeah, that's well, I mean,
yes,
big. Yes, I guess you could call it big corporate stuff. I mean, when you get 1,500 people in a room, that's bigger than normal. But
that's
yeah,
quite bigger than normal. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Unless you want to call Microsoft small.
You know, I don't know who does all those parties. I haven't done one of those in a while, but I've got some other big hitters that I really like.
You got the military bases, right?
I do have a lot of the military balls, and I have a lot of like Comcast is a big thing for us. The Ram International Brewing Company, which Johnny does trivia in Issaquah on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m.
I'm the trivia guy there.
You know, and it's funny, Johnny. I was just down there yesterday, and I was talking to the manager, and a couple of the guests walked in, and they sat next to me, and I was sitting there drinking a beer and doing a little work, and they started talking about the trivia. And I said, "Oh, I know the guy that does it here," and they were just blown away on how wonderful the show is and what a great job the host does.
Oh, great! I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I've heard of that guy.
Take a pin or squeeze his nose a little bit so some of the air goes out of his head. Like, blew that big thing.
You know, Dave, one of the things I'm really surprised by, and not so much like I know you can't, but most people don't realize how important it is to be able to entertain a small group of maybe 40 people in an intimate small wedding and still be able to be the same personality to entertain 1,500 people in a big banquet party.
Yeah.
Well, that is weird, and that is a tough deal to do. 40 people that's probably harder than anything else.
Can
you
be.
Get to that 20, 40 people, unless you're like juggling balls and doing all kinds of stuff, it becomes difficult. It really
but you've been doing it for 25 years.
No, since 1984.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's the trick? What's the secret behind it?
Stupidity, no college education.
Humility.
I was just going to say, you've got a personality that makes everybody feel very welcome, I got to say.
You know, you're right about the smaller party, though, sometimes, because say, for instance, you have a small party of 30, 40 people, and they're all deadbeats.
Oh, well, no. Take that back, because there's never a deadbeat at a party.
Okay.
It's
35 out of 40.
Well, no, I mean, it's like when you're going to those parties, it all depends on who's throwing the party and how they set the party up. I've had killer parties at my house with 20 people,
right.
And I've had 200 people and had just as much fun with 20 as I have 200. It just depends how you set it up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they get there, you know, a perfect example, Social Powers, I just left there. They're going to have a party this evening with the Chamber of Commerce for Tacoma. And, you know, he says he's going to have anywhere from 20 to 100 people. I go, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to play Christmas music. I said, what else are you going to do? Well, I've got a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of vodka. And that's his party. I'm like, boy, you know, now that would be a dud for me to walk into. You've got to have something. You've got to have a way to entertain people. People want something. They expect something.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go in and do a company called Aegis Living, and they've got companies all over the world, but or all over the country. And you go in and do those events, and they set things out. They'll have party favors on the table. They'll have lights going over here. They have gifts for people. They have, you know, it's just all how the person who's putting the party together presents the party.
And that's one of the things you help do, right, is plan the party?
Well, it just depends. I mean, if they hire me to do that, yeah, I'll go in and I try to put it together. When somebody brings me in as a DJ, I try to give my advice, the best advice I possibly can. You both worked at some of those big halls, like the Elks Lodges or something like that, where they have that gigantic dance floor in the middle, and you're like, no, you got to squeeze people in. Well, no, we want them to be able to dance. I said, well, people aren't dancing like that anymore.
Right.
You know, the old Fred Astaire days and throwing their arms around and stuff. Those days are gone. This is a whole new revolution. It's a whole new time and a whole new era.
Tighter and fuller is the key.
Tight and full, yeah. And you walk into these rooms and you go, how many guests are you going to have? Like 300, 400? No, we've got 100 people coming. But you have a dance floor for 500 people. And you have done it yourself where you go and you play music and nobody dances because it's too wide. It's too open. You've got to bring it in. You can always push the tables out.
Good point. You know, it's like, case in point, Wayne Newton can sell out a showroom in Las Vegas, but if he comes to Seattle or someplace into a big room, they usually section the room off because they expect maybe 500 people.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept, but people that aren't in the entertainment industry and haven't done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigs, they don't realize that. And a lot of times when they go out to do a party for the first time, they don't really have a clue. So when you try to guide them and try to help them, sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't.
Well, 90% of the time they're listening to their great aunt or their uncle.
Correct. Yes. Good point.
The aunt and uncle, they threw a party back in 1950 or 40 when they got married, and it ain't the same anymore. You don't go through and do the cake, bouquet, garter, first dance, father, daughter, son, mother dance all in a row. It's
well said,
totally
sir.
Different.
Well
it's
said.
A totally
well
different
said.
ball game.
Well said.
Probably the last 6 weddings, I don't even think the girls threw bouquets.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
One of the hot things that we were doing this year is they were taking a football and putting the garter on a football and auctioning it off.
I've actually seen that. Yeah,
I've seen it too. I don't know. Mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, but see, we're from a different generation, and now the newer stuff is coming out, and you're like, just like what you said, John, you're not used to it, but it's something different. It's something unique.
Yeah.
And, it's just something you got to kind of go with the flow. I wasn't real hip on a lot of things, but
I saw the guy spike the football on the dance floor, bounce up and hit somebody right in the chin.
Oh!
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't a happy sight.
No, I bet they weren't happy at all.
Now, are you out doing a lot of corporate Christmas gigs? Do you have holiday gigs, or what do you got going on this time of year?
I have so many holiday events going on. You can't call it Christmas anymore, Brad.
No,
it's a
you
holiday
can't.
Event.
Holiday swinging.
Sorry, I'm calling it Christmas. Grinch and all.
Holiday event. I'm doing a holiday event.
Okay.
I have so many holiday events going up until the 20th. I am going to be a walking zombie, which is fine because, we all like the benefits of what we do for the work, and that's why we do it.
Right.
But, it's going to be a tough 20 days, and it starts today.
Now, how much of a variety of types of parties do you have? I mean, are they all kind of corporate style, or they got a bar and music and a dinner, or what are you looking at?
I don't really do anything with bars. Bars, nightclubs and stuff. I do have one giant corporate event or corporate company that I do. I've been with them for 16 years, and you guys both know who that is. But as far as going and looking for bar business, I don't really like to go do that. And it's like me doing a school event. I just passed that, I guess, in my age, where I don't want to have some little kid coming up and say, "Oh, turn this off, it sucks."
Right.
Or why aren't you playing my song and I'll dance in front of you if you play, whatever Hoochie Mama song they want. And those things, it doesn't interest me at this time in my career. I prefer more corporate. I prefer more rental stuff that I'm in and out and I can spend time with my client versus going in for 3 hours and playing a set and leaving.
So let me ask you this. You got a lot of people listening that are going to be planning parties. You got a lot of people that are going to be doing different kind of events. What are some of the secrets to putting together a good event? What are some of your tips?
The best thing that I could ever tell anybody is be organized, write it down, and delegate.
That's good advice.
No, it is. It's probably the easiest thing you can do. If you delegate, you write it down, and you're organized, you will succeed. If you walk in and turn it into an S show, it's just a nightmare for everybody.
And how important is it nowadays? I know it's really popular in times past, but how important is it nowadays to have a theme?
Ah, boy. One of the best parties I ever went to, and it was so cool because the host had a hat at the door for guys to dip their hand into and girls to dip their hand into. And you pulled a name out. And through the whole event, you had to pose as the character that you pulled out of the hat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so all night, you're like John Wayne, and a lot of listeners probably wonder who that is, but or Marilyn Monroe. You had to stay in character until somebody discovered who you were, and then you could drop your character.
See, I think every good party has to have a little twist on it, something like that, maybe a particular theme. doesn't have to be all costumes or all decorations. Those are fun too. We've all been there. But just a little tip, a hint, something to make it kind of fun and different.
Yeah, you're right. But then you can go to the party where, a guy just wants to have a bash instead of a wedding. He just wants to have a club atmosphere party.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that at all.
As long as they hire Lou Jam Entertainment.
That's right,
Yeah,
Dave. We're out of time, Dave. Tell our listeners your website, your contact info.
www. You always got to put that at the front. LEUJAM.com, and that takes care of disc jockey, video, rentals, trivia, light, sound, action, Act 1 photo booth, Act 1, number 1.
And don't forget trivia at the Ram.
Trivia Thursday night at the Ram with Johnny the Capo. Or no, trivia Wednesday night.
That's right.
At the Ram in Issaquah, 9 p.m., Johnny the Capo. Catch me Monday, U Village. Tuesday, Northgate Ram. Wednesday, Kent Ram. Thursday at the Federal Way Ram. But Johnny on Wednesday nights, Issaquah, 9 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Viva ENT. We're going to go to a quick commercial, and then we have our special guest on today, right on the half hour. This is Johnny the Gangster with Viva Productions, King of Entertainment, one-stop shop for all your entertainment needs. We have DJ service for weddings, corporate, and private events. Thrill your guests with Vegas Nights Casino Party, blackjack, craps, roulette, poker, and more. We also have event photography and limousine service. Call Viva Productions 206-542-5733 or find us at viva-productions.com. A little less conversation, a little more action, you got it. Call Johnny the Gangster. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse.
Is your vehicle needing some attention? Take it over to Maddie's Tuning and Shoreline for fast, affordable car care. Trusted, professional. Maddie's services all makes and models and has been trusted in the Puget Sound for almost 60 years. Call Brian Maddie at 206-364-3347 or stop by his convenient location in Shoreline right on Aurora at 152nd. Maddie's Tuning. Call 206-364-3347. Trusted for almost 60 years to keep you safe and on the road.
Life's a celebration. Grand Event Rentals makes your event their top priority. They are your full-service, special event, and party rental provider, supplying everything you need from start to finish. Their professional sales team and event staff work with you to create your dream event. With every event, Grand Event Rentals customers' needs are the most important. Whether you're planning an intimate outdoor wedding or an elaborate black tie gala, the Grand Event Rentals specialists make great pride in providing our event planning experience to help create an unforgettable event. Please go and visit the Bellevue showroom, Grand Event Rentals, or make a one-on-one appointment. Talk to them. They're trained, they're knowledgeable, they're event specialists, and they are going to take you through step-by-step everything that you need to make your day a success. Call Grand Event Rentals. Their number is 425-462-7368 or go to grandeventrentalslaw.com. Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930 or online at SaturnBarter.com. Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com. That's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com.
Dr. Amanda Wong and the team at Art of the Smiles provides comprehensive dental services at affordable prices. Their convenient location in Federal Way and their extended hours fits the needs of both families and working professionals. Whether it's transforming your smile through some of their cosmetic therapies or simply having your teeth cleaned, Art of the Smiles provides individualized care plans that address your priorities and needs. Visit artofthesmiles.com or call 253-839-4048. That's 253-839-4048 for same-day scheduling. Most insurance is accepted, from cosmetic procedures to implant placement, molar root canals treatment, or wisdom teeth extractions.
Make it a great day. Keep your dial on Alternative Talk 1150.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Viva ENT. We're live on the air in Seattle. This is Johnny the Capo, your host. I'm here in the studio with my co-host,
Brad Buckles. Good afternoon.
The greatest producer in all of the state of Washington.
It's Eric C.C. Ryder.
My talent coordinator, Mr. Jerry Osborne, has a special guest on today. She was gracious enough to be on our show today. Jerry, bring her on.
Well, fortunately, this is someone who I have known for approximately 40 years.
Oh, my gosh.
We have been to her home and stayed with her. She has been here and stayed with us, and we have just gotten together as often as possible during Elvis Week in Memphis every year. So we go back a long way, but all along, for all those years, I've always known what a spectacular artist that she was. And so about maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I commissioned her to do a series of prints, and I think we did 5 different ones, 3 of Elvis, 1 of Frank Sinatra, and 1 of Dean Martin.
Wow.
And those were produced in limited edition, signed, numbered lithographs that were very popular in the fine art world. So we had a chance not only to be friends, but to be business partners for a little while, too. So having said all that, a big welcome to everybody's favorite Elvis artist and many people's favorite artist in general, Betty Harper in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, my gosh, I didn't know she was from Nashville.
Oh, yes, Nashville, a lovely place.
I've heard that Nashville is like the hip city going lately.
Oh, it is. It's growing by past couple of years by leaps and bounds.
Everyone wants to be near where you are.
Is that what it is?
Well, that's what it is.
Oh, I'm gonna give them your address.
If you head to Nashville to meet Jerry, it's going to be a little bit of a wait.
Yeah.
Well, I know that for the people who don't know much about Betty, and shame on them, but if they don't, why don't we just kind of take it way back to the beginning when you were just a little girl, probably holding pencils for the first time, and tell me what got you started on drawing people and places and things and carving out what would be a phenomenal career.
I had when I was in elementary school, there was a boy that sat in front of me in class who sketched all the time, and I just would watch over his shoulder. It just fascinated me, and I asked him one day, I said, can you teach me how to do that? And he said, no, but just watch, just watch and you can do it.
Uh-huh.
So I watched him, and I just started doing it, and I drew the comic strips, the Sunday comics and the newspapers and comic books and anything that was around me, I drew.
Wow.
It didn't matter what it was. I'd sit in the garage with my dad when he worked on the car, and I'd design cars and draw wheels and everything else. I just was fascinated with it.
And how old were you when you started?
Oh, 8 or 9 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. That I remember. My dad said I was always interested in it, but that's my recollection of it when I just really zeroed in on it and became so fascinated.
Now, was this before you were going to school in Paris or during?
Well, I did my first and second grade in France because Dad was in the Air Force, and then I did my 11th and 12th grade in France. So this would have been in between that.
Were you influenced at all by being in Paris and being an artist?
Oh, I think so. I think so because we spent I had, between my junior and senior year, I went to a 6-week art class in Paris. I stayed at the Cité Universitaire. And it was one of these classes where students come over from colleges from all over the world and get credit for what they do. And so, I did that for the summer. So I went to a lot of museums and really got enveloped in the culture. And it influenced me forever with art, with food, attitude, everything.
Does the Louvre have a special section now dedicated just to you?
Oh, they should, shouldn't they?
They should.
That would be great.
Boy, I'm telling you.
I can remember walking into the Louvre when I was 16 years old, and people would be sitting with their easels, doing reproductions of the paintings on the wall. It was an amazing experience, especially for a 16-year-old. So it just embedded an impression on me that still stays.
That's great.
I love France.
I'm telling you, I couldn't agree more. I love France as well. I'm looking through some of your country western stuff, and this is to die for.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Well, Betty has done quite a number of album covers for people in all phases of music.
I was going to say, if this is pencil, this is incredible.
Yeah, I like pencil. Pencil's my favorite, and I like colored pencil. I do some acrylic, but as far as the western stuff, Roy Rogers was the first person I ever drew, outside of an object or something in the comic strips. There was one of my classmates asked me one day, she said, have you ever tried drawing a real person? And I thought, well, no, that's one thing I hadn't tried was a real person.
Right.
So we had pads at school. They were called Big Chief notepads that we wrote on, and Roy Rogers was on the cover of mine.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, let me just see what I can do with it.
Sure.
And I drew Roy, and I think I was just hooked on drawing people.
Wow.
Well, I'd say you're hooked on drawing Roy because your Roy Rogers is phenomenal.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
I got to meet him. And about a year and a half before he died.
Oh.
Because I had done a print with somebody here in Nashville, and he was he wanted to meet me, and he was going to be at the 60th anniversary of the Sons of the Pioneers in Tucson, Arizona.
Boy.
So I flew out there to meet him, and that was there's not words for that.
Great memory, huh?
What an experience! And you met Dale Evans too, probably.
Dale Evans, yeah. We were. I had my son James, my daughter Bridget, who lived in Arizona, and my friend Sally, and we were having breakfast. And Roy and Dale came in, and there was an enclosed area, and so they were brought in there to have their breakfast. And when they finished, then I went in, and James went with me because I let him. He was only 10 years old, I think, at the time, but I was going to have him take pictures, and this was before digital. And so I went in, and they were sitting down, and he told me to come over and sit by him. So I sat down by Roy, and I turned around, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and by golly, tears just rolled down my face. I couldn't say a word. His eyes just twinkle like stars. And
Incredible.
he said, that is the best picture I've ever seen of myself.
Did he see your artwork?
Yes, he saw. That's why he wanted to meet me.
Oh, he wanted to meet you. That's something right there.
Yeah. But it was amazing. That only celebrity I've ever met that I've had such an impact. But I looked back on it, and I think, since he was the very first person I ever drew, and then to be sitting here in the room with him and him making comments about my artwork, it was overwhelming.
It's a big day, huh?
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah.
You
He was a nice man.
You do have a remarkable way of making their eyes really shine, or just kind of capturing that. I'm looking at your Garth Brooks here, too. It's perfect.
Well, Brad, I've always felt that she could draw something that would look like a photograph.
Well, we were just talking off air before we called, and the producer here, Eric, was commenting that he thinks she's painting it. That can't possibly be done in pencil.
Yeah, it's pencil.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Unless it's painted.
Yep, you've got a gift. There's no question about
it. They're realistic, but they're not realistic to the point where you say, "Gosh, is that a photograph?" I don't like them that realistic.
Boy, it's incredible.
As far as the eyes, that's what I zero in on first.
You can tell.
If I can't get the eyes, then there's no reason to bother with the rest of the picture.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So going back to France here, when you were back in some of these museums, and you've probably been back since, were you more into like the landscapes and the pictures and such, or did you like a lot of the sculptures?
I never have been. I've done landscape, architectural drawings and things like that, and I can do them, but my passion is really people. So I gravitate to paintings of people.
Boy, you can tell. I mean, you capture some of these. I mean, I'm not even a big country western fan, although I follow it and I've become a little bit educated. But you've got people on here that I can look at and go, I know exactly who that is. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
one of our most satisfied customers was Loretta Lynn.
Yeah, I saw that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I came to Nashville to do album covers. I had done some prints for the state of Tennessee. And, Kentucky, I'm sorry, the state of Kentucky. And we were on the road going from different places, putting the prints in shops and things like that. And we met Ray Walker of the Jordanaires.
Mm-hmm.
And he was impressed with my artwork. And he said, you need to be in Nashville doing artwork for the music business and whatever.
Absolutely.
So he was really instrumental in getting me here and getting me going and introducing me to people and setting me on the road to where I am now.
Well, I'm very curious about this whole 10,000 images of Elvis. That's just astounding to me, how anybody could have a portfolio that full.
Eric, I got a kick out of your comment before we went on the air. You and Johnny were talking about Betty's art and Elvis,
mm-hmm.
and I think you might have said, yeah, she's probably done 1,000 of Elvis. And I laughed to myself, and I thought, wait till he finds out that she's done 10,000.
Yeah. Well, actually...
Well, I just pulled that number out of the air, but it looked like there was a lot, yeah.
But you wouldn't have dared say 10,000.
I don't even know
how... That's a lot
actually,
for one lifetime.
Yeah, I just recently, in the past few months, completed my 20,016th drawing of Elvis.
Wow.
And it went to a lady in Texas.
Where do you find the time? That's pretty amazing. They look very labor-intensive.
Yeah, when I was growing up, that's all I did. I mean, I can remember one day I drew 11. But now you have to also stop and think the difference in a 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old drawing something as a 25, 30-year-old person drawing something.
Sure.
Yeah.
It had a lot of line art, and then there was a time when shading started coming into it, and then it got more and more detailed.
And then I'm going to guess if you know it's going to print, or if you're going to go into a business arrangement with it, you probably spend a little bit more time than if it's something that you're working on privately, right?
Right, and it has to be, it has to be different. If you're going into print, when we started doing so much commercial work for EPE, for merchandising, then I really started turning to the computer for help on that.
Oh,
so I could diversify what I was doing and to make it more appealing
mm-hmm.
for reproduction. So that was another avenue of adding to the pencil and the colored pencil and the crayon.
Actually, I didn't even think about how technology has changed during your career. You've probably seen
mm-hmm.
everything from a piece of paper and a pencil to, I don't even know. But
You're on the iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
Betty, you told us how the Roy Rogers inspiration was important to you. How did you come across doing Elvis in the first place?
Well, my art situation or my art interest evolved all around the same time that the music was coming on board, mid-50s. And so, as a kid, I just loved the music. And I can remember sitting with my parents in the living room of our house watching Elvis on the Dorsey Brothers show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember afterwards when it was over, my dad said, well, he said, that kid's going to make $1 million.
A lot of people said
so,
different.
Yeah, and I had already delved into that, drawing people with Roy and cowboys and Indians and things like that. So it was just only natural to draw Elvis, to draw Ricky Nelson, draw Fabian, to draw anybody that was part of the music that I was liking.
I'll never forget the image of on the Dorsey Brothers show when Elvis first appeared. That very first night, he had a black shirt and white tie on, or something similar to that, and silver sparkly jacket, and like nobody ever looked like that on TV before. Mm-hmm. So it was like an image that that stuck in people's minds forever.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Jerry?
Well, it's a no-brainer, of course. I mean, it was otherworldly.
Yeah, it was like another world.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So take us back to the time period, Betty, when you kind of decided, like, wow, I could actually do this for a living. I mean, it's an honor to be able to say that you've had a career doing something that you love, but there had to have been a point where you weren't totally sure about this. When did you kind of decide you were going to try it?
I just sort of came along in it. I'm pretty much a commercial artist. I'm an illustrator.
Sure.
And so I've done a lot of things. And then when Ray encouraged me to come to Nashville, and then I got to doing album covers, and you know, I designed a record label for Marty Robbins, and just, you know, Christmas cards for Loretta Lynn, just a lot of different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of pulled right into it, you know. And of course, I just kept the Elvis drawings going. They were mine. They were what I did for myself, for relaxation, for learning. They were a learning process.
Okay.
Because, you know, like in anything, playing the piano, you've got to practice. And Elvis was my practice board to learn my craft.
Good face to practice on.
Now,
Johnny, she was just saying that she's done 20,016 images of Elvis Presley.
No. Yeah, but who's counting?
20,000?
20,016.
And 16, yeah.
Well, let's also mention that you've made several books over the years. Can you talk a bit about those?
The first one was in 79, I think, 78 or 79. Oh. And I was in a bookstore in Hendersonville where I lived, and just looking around, and as I walked out, there was a book on the bottom shelf that was not stuck in all the way. You know, so I reached down to push the book in. I don't know why. But instead, I pulled it out, and I looked at it, and it was Frank Frazetta. And I started looking through it, and I thought, oh, wow, this stuff's great. And my mind thought, you know, I'd love to have a book like this with my Elvis drawings in it.
Sure.
So I talked to the guy who owned the shop and told him what I was thinking, and he said, well, let me give you a name, because he said, you know, these publishing companies, they get thousands of stuff. It just comes across the desk, and in and out it goes. So he got a name for me. And I wrote a letter and sent 4 or 5 5x7 photographs of some of my artwork, and I never heard anything. And time went by, and then one day I got a call, and this guy says, "You know, I got your artwork. I like it. We'd like to do something." He said, "I'm coming down there in May, and if you've got enough and I like it, I'll do it. If you don't, then I won't." And in May they showed up. The vice president of Bantam Books and the art director. And the art director just went through the house. And when he got through, he had picked everything he wanted for the book. And I said, well, how long does it take to get, you know, now that you have everything, to get a book actually published? And so this, Reisner, I think was his name, said, it takes 2 or 3 years. It takes a long time. 3 months later, the book was in the stores.
Very cool.
That was the first book, and then I had 2 others after that. One that we did here, that a publisher here did, and then one that St. Martin's Press did out of New York.
Unbelievable.
Oh, and who was that amazing publisher who published your Elvis coloring book?
That was actually done here too. Yeah, I'm trying to think who did. Oh, who did that, Jerry?
I did. Yes, I was very proud of that.
Very popular book.
So fill me in. You had an Elvis coloring book?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did a bunch of line art. that kids could color. And, had puzzles and different things in it, just like in the old coloring books.
What year would you say that was about?
Pardon?
What year was that?
Jerry, do you remember?
I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. I've just never seen it.
It's on my shelf. I could walk over and look, but I would have to leave the phone to do that.
Yeah, it's probably time to do another one. You see how popular coloring books are now?
Oh, yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's never been unpopular, actually.
No, but now it's just a phenomenon.
Betty knows, because she's been here, that I have one large wall, and that entire wall is occupied by Betty Harper artwork.
Isn't that something?
And they're all originals, too, I might add.
So is this your home in Port Johnson?
Yes.
Oh. I got to come and visit.
Yeah, the whole wall.
I got to come and visit.
You've got the Marty Robbins, too, don't you, Jerry?
Oh, yes. I have the Marty Robbins, which is one that we didn't produce, but I have the original. And, of course, I have the original of Dean and Frank. And you did a fantastic Ricky Nelson original that I have. So I got, and including ones that I have that you did of me and also of Barbara.
Wow.
Well, yeah, and what about the one of your dad? Did you keep that one, or was that for somebody else?
I gave it to his widow, and so it could be, since the widow has now died, it could be that Devin has that, and that would be a very appropriate place for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're down to about 2 minutes, guys. Betty, tell our listeners about your website, your Facebook, everything that you got going.
Yeah, I've got Facebook, Twitter, the Elvis Artist, Instagram.
Elvis Artist, okay, cool. Instagram. Great.
Yeah, I love Instagram.
Pleasure having you on the show today. I'm going to post this show. It'll be on our archive at 1150.com, KKNW.
Okay.
Pardon me, 1150kknw.com. And also, I'll look for you on Facebook, and I'll post it on your Facebook, too.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been nice talking to everyone.
Thank you so much for doing this on short notice, and we look forward to seeing you in a few months.
All right.
All right, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Jerry, so next week we got the legendary.
We have Miss Donna Fargo next week.
That's incredible.
No, sorry. Donna Fargo and Ron Dante. Ron Dante is next week, and then Donna, I think. Maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, we got them both coming up.
I think on the 8th is Donna Fargo.
That's Donna Fargo. So then Ron Dante will be on the 15th.
That sounds good, man.
Okay.
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to Viva ENT. On behalf of Brad Buckles, Eric C.C. Ryder, this is Johnny the Capo. We'll dig you now. See you later, because you are a fine sweet potato. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is Johnny the Gangster with Viva Productions, King of Entertainment. One-stop shop for all your entertainment needs. We have DJ service for weddings, corporate, and private events. Thrill your guests with Vegas Nights Casino Party, blackjack, craps, roulette, poker, and more. We also have event photography and limousine service. Call Viva Productions 206-542-5733 or find us at viva-productions.com. A little less conversation, a little more action, you got it. Call Johnny the Gangster. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse.
Is your vehicle needing some attention? Take it over to Maddie's Tuning and Shoreline for fast, affordable car care. Trusted, professional. Maddie's services all makes and models and has been trusted in the Puget Sound for almost 60 years. Call Brian Maddie at 206-364-3347 or stop by his convenient location in Shoreline right on Aurora at 152nd. Maddie's Tuning. Call 206-364-3347. Trusted for almost 60 years to keep you safe and on the road.
Life's a celebration. Grand Event Rentals makes your event their top priority. They are your full-service, special event, and party rental provider, supplying everything you need from start to finish. Their professional sales team and event staff work with you to create your dream event. With every event, Grand Event Rentals customers' needs are the most important. Whether you're planning an intimate outdoor wedding or an elaborate black tie gala, the Grand Event Rental specialists make great pride in providing our event planning experience to help create an unforgettable event. Please go and visit the Bellevue Showroom, Grand Event Rentals, or make a one-on-one appointment Talk to them. They're trained, they're knowledgeable, they're event specialists, and they are going to take you through step by step everything that you need to make your day a success. Call Grand Event Rentals. Their number's 425-462-7368, or go to grandeventrentalslaw.com. Law.com.